and welcome back to the Nasty Round Productions channel here at YouTube. Of course, this is Heavy Hatchet, the guy who runs this channel. And of course, this is another currently listening to episode. Since the last one was all vinyl, this one is all CDs. Let me turn that down for a bit. No, it's not that I'm worried about getting a copyright claim or strike. Just want to be able for you guys to hear me. But yeah, I've been listening to a lot of CDs as well. There's quite a bit to hear to show. There's like, I think about 15 or 14 albums here. So let's definitely get to it. First one, Deep Purple's Come Taste the Band. Geez, in the currently listening to episode before the one where it was all vinyl, I showed Stormbringer. Here, this is Come Taste the Band. This, of course, is the 2-disc repress from like 2016, which was definitely recently. It's pretty much the 2010 deluxe edition, just in a jewel case instead of being, I think, like Digipack. I think can't remember. But here it features the original album remastered with the single version of You Keep Moving On, and then the 2010 album remix, which features also some unreleased stuff on there, like Same in LA, which is a pretty good track. It's a little more instrumental, but it does feature, again, some good guitar soloing from Tommy Bolin. And of course it has a Bolin Pace jam, which is pretty much just Tommy Bolin just jamming with Ian Pace, which that's a pretty good track. The remix is it definitely I'm losing train of thought. Maybe because there's music playing in the background, which I'll get to. But what's his name? Goddamn. Glenn Hughes. Glenn Hughes is the guy that ended up remixing the album, and he makes it sound very modern. It sounds like it was recorded in the fucking modern times. Even at the time of 2010, it sounds like it was recorded on that day. Sounds like Tommy Bolin was resurrected from the grave just to put that lineup together. Really something, but it's good. Well, the remix probably won't blow. I don't think it blows away the original mix because nothing can beat the original, but still good. But as far as the album being concerned, it's a good album. For me, as far as my favorite from Tommy Bolin, this and James Gang's Bang, which I showed in my last, the currently listening to video that I did before this, where I just showed nothing but vinyl. That album and this, played back to back, are a 1-2 punch. They pretty much fit like a glove. They're both very similar, but they're just really good hard rock albums. Here we go. This is, of course, his Headstone, which I talked about this in one of my overrated or underrated videos. This band. This, of course, known for going on doing that Excalibur album from like 1985. This is pretty much their first album because of the according to Metal Archives, I think I've said in that video that it says that it was released on vinyl, but I bet it was only in test pressing, which makes that very, very uber hard to really come by. But here, all you've got is the CD read. This was definitely recorded in like 1983, but released in 1984. Pretty much has the guy who would go on to sing for Beto, another German metal band that I also mentioned in that overrated, underrated video where I talked about this. Definitely good German hard rocking like heavy metal, because it's very 70s though, almost kind of like Uriah Heep in a way, but it's good, definitely good. Got a few tracks that are sung in German. It's a good album. I like that. Of course, once in a while, gotta play Defense of the Faith. Fucking good album. I love this. That's all. Also, Picture, Diamond Dreamer. Of course, this features the debut album as well. But for me, I just wanted to listen to Diamond Dreamer. It's a classic, if you ask me. It's a classic. It's on Dive Bomb. I also ended up pulling out this one, Flight. I did a review, which I will have somewhere on the title, the link you to. Good album from last year. Good, modern, classic, hard rock, heavy metal out of Norway. Just if you know, like the 70s hard rock and new wave of British heavy metal, you'll dig this. Made my list of top, 20 or 25 best, albums of last year. I talked about this also, I think, in that same overrated or underrated video where I talked about Headstone. This is Hex, the Under the Spell 30th anniversary edition that Metal Blade put out this year. Pretty much features the End of the Spell album and No Escape album, which I had No Escape playing in that video, which I'm surprised I didn't get a copyright claim on that one. But still, good one. Features a lot of bonus material, DVD. Man, it's just packed with a lot of stuff, man. Features also some new recordings from 2014 and 2013, and they're both, the 2014 songs feature the guy who pretty much sang on the End of the Spell album. Oh god, Dan Bryant. They got him back to record that to be featured as bonus tracks of the End of the Spell remaster, and then they got Dennis Manzo, I think. What is his name? The guy who sang on No Escape to do some new songs to be featured also on, in the No Escape album. Good, very good. Though I kind of like Dan Bryant more. I've always been like a Dan Bryant guy. I just really love that Under the Spell album. That and Vicious Rumors, Digital Dictator are definitely, almost a 1-2 punch, because they're very similar in a way, but they're both good albums. Just Under the Spell's a little more heavier and more, raw sounding in a way. A little thrashier, while the first album's a bit more heavy metal sounding, but still good. Features also the Paradox demo, which they were called Paradox before they changed their name to Hex, but not to be confused with the Paradox, I think from Germany, or the one that was the new wave of British heavy metal band. But definitely good. Features also some live footage during their death thrash era. It's just, again, jam-packed to show off here. This one also features the DVD. Of course, No Escape. And then the Hex history, rise and fall of a Bay Area legend. And of course, there's your whole discography right there. But yeah, I haven't really been able to finish all of this, but I wish I had gotten this reissue when I did those reviews for US Power Month, because I would have been able to add more information into that. But yeah, just a cool set. Just a real cool set. If you really dig the box set stuff that Metal Blade had been doing since like 2000s, you'll definitely dig these. Again, their box set stuff are just amazing. I got that one actually on my birthday, and this one as well, which I was surprised, since I had that on that list, but I didn't know I was going to end up getting it. This, of course, is the new album by Barbarian. I reviewed this also kind of during USPM month, but it wasn't really a part of that, series. It was just a review, and it was one I wanted to check out. It's on Hell's Headbangers Records. This is pretty much the third album from Italy, with this album, it's kind of hard to pinpoint, really, on what style of genre they are, at least for metal. They are not really thrash metal, they're not black metal, they're not death metal, they're not just speed metal, they're not just heavy metal, they're not just straight up epic heavy metal. They're just somewhere in there because they mix a lot of that stuff within there, and it's done very original. It's just a solid album from start to finish. It's really, Bridge Burner, Horrors of Redemption. Of course, the title track is one of the best songs on here, absolute metal. It's like if you decided to mix some Celtic Frost with Venom, with a little bit of Motorhead, with the Baptist Blood, with some, shit. Just maybe some Running Wild, like, think of like, Brennan Exiled era. Fuck, as far as black metal is concerned, maybe the only band that really comes to mind is probably, maybe like Bathory, or, fuck, who else would be like a Bulldozer, I guess, you know, it's just a little bit of Manowar thrown in. It's a really odd mixture, and I did point that out in my review, which I will probably link to you somewhere here, but this is just a killer album, really. Even if you're into thrash metal, I'd say this is definitely, you know, something to really check out. It's just a very good album. This one I also showed in one of my last overrated, underrated video. This, of course, is Adrian, One Step in the Uncertain. This is the same record label that did the Headstone, which I'll show again. It's part of the same series, the Heavy Metal Classics, which I'll right there. This is pretty much HMC 011, and this one right here is HMC, not HMG. Yeah, let's throw in a shout out to Heavy Metal Gamer. You're probably watching this. But yeah, HMC 002, they're all numbered. At least to kind of keep on what came first, and this was released like in 2013, this 14. The one cool thing also about these series is they also give you a certificate. Like with this one, it's like all hand numbered as well on the certificate, which I'll show you the certificate for the headstone. It's pretty much, this is numbered 3A7 or 347 maybe out of 666, yeah, 666. I should have showed this on the day that it was 666. I should have. But yeah, they're all numbered, and it's definitely cool. And I'll also show you the one for the Adrian. But again, they're all numbers, so it really doesn't matter what copy you end up getting. It will all be a different number. That's the one cool thing about the stuff that Carthago's been doing with this series. Another cool thing as well is the fact that they're bringing to light a lot of rare stuff that haven't been, you know, seen, you know, the light of being on CD. That, and also it makes it easier so you wouldn't have to fork out a lot of money for the original pressing. But here's also the certificate for the Adrian. This is number A37 out of 500. So there's about 500 copies of the Adrian reissue. It was also helped release through Pure Steel. Yeah, they get partners, I guess, some people will really help, you know, distribute them. So they'll get different labels, like Heart is mostly the one that seems to be doing a lot of them. I know Heart has been helping No Remorse Records also, but good. But let me talk about this album for a bit. It's a German band. And also that's one thing to expect with a lot of the Heavy Metal Classics series, is the fact that a lot of them are mostly within the German and Austrian scene. So they're like, it's all bands from Germany and Austria that they've been, you know, focusing on. But man, they've been able to at least put some classics on here. Though this is kind of a classic due to its artwork. You know, look at that. That's the most amateurish church artwork you'll ever see on a heavy metal album. That is such a good view. Let me see if I can get you on the look on this guy for a bit. Look at that. What does that look say? Almost seems like a very confused guy. And in here, the look of the spider, look at that. You're like, is this guy afraid of this, or is this spider afraid of him? And here he's got a fucking gun there, which obviously, why the hell is he holding it like that when he should be pointing at it? It's the most confused artwork ever for an album. It's called One Step Into the Uncertain. Yeah. But it's a good album. It's definitely more closer to that speed power metal that was coming out of Europe. It's not really like Halloween, but it's a little like Mania. It's probably the best example or comparison. There's a little bit of Running Wild there, but it's good though. I like it. But this album's also, this reissue is actually the only time where the band really got back together to actually record a track. It's the only, you know, recent track from the band. It was recorded back in 2012. It's called Rainbow Warrior, and it was written back in 1988, but recorded until 2012. It's a good track though. They sound like they could be able to at least maybe release another album, but they only just got back together just to record it. It's a good album though. I like it. But as far as the greatest thing to come out of Germany, it's not. But I'll have to talk about that if I ever put them in a overrated or underrated series or episode. I mean, here we go. Bullet, of course, a Swedish band. I've talked a lot about this, I think, on my channel. I didn't do a review, but I talked about them. I think like Are We Living Like a Golden Era? Even I also talked about it like where I talk about nothing but like Swedish metal or new wave or Twitch heavy metal. I mean, good album, classic. Just good old modern hard rock heavy metal that's very much closer to that 70s, early 80s style, kind of new wave of British heavy metal. Just a good album. Just a really good album. Also pulled this out, and this is an album that's definitely worthy of pulling out once in a while. ACDC's The Razor's Edge. What else? It's ACDC. Good album. Not really my favorite, because it's got some good tracks in it, like Fire Your Guns, the title track's a killer track. Are You Ready's a pretty good track here and there. Got You by the Balls is pretty much, you know, your typical AC/DC track. Goodbye and Good Riddance to Bad Luck and If You Dare. Those are some of the good tracks I tend to like off this one, but it's a good album. Then also pulled this out. Molly Hatchet's Warriors of the Rainbow Bridge. Good album. Good album. Of course, during the Phil McCormick era, so just that the lineup that pretty much recorded like Devil's Canyon there, but this also was the first album to, where Dave Ubek came back. But this is a rockin' album, real rockin' album. Almost at times, almost barely a southern rock album. It's just really, just like with, you know, Silent Reign of Heroes. It's just almost a heavy metal album, or just straight up hard rock or something. Just really good. And since they were the first, you know, southern rock band to mix heavy metal within the sound, and that's what probably really tends, you know, to resonate with me. I really like the sort of metallic stuff on this album. It's just a good album. Even for like fans of Saxon, we just dig this. Alright, so those are the albums I have showed. Now it's time to get to some that I recently got. So here we got is, I got 2 albums by these guys. The reason I went and sought out these 2 is due to Greeno talking about them. This of course is Obus out of Spain. This of course their debut, Preparate. I think I might have, because it's all in, Spanish, but this is just a really good, heavy hard rock album. In a way, it is kind of hard rock in a way, because it's very much, very similar to what was going on in the late 70s, early 80s, and especially during that whole new wave of British heavy metal movement. And this was recorded during the height of that movement. But this is really good. The first track, I'm not going to try and go in and say the names, because I'm going to butcher them. But track 3 is like the heaviest song on here. That one right there. That's probably the heaviest. The way it starts out, it's got a bit of like a Sabbath sound to it, but then the minute it gets faster, it's a little more Priest-like. Just a good album. Yeah, released in 1981, and this one is their 3rd record. This is El Que Mas, released in 1984. This is a little more, definitely more of that 80s heavy metal sound right here. It's a little more kind of Judas Priest sounding, and definitely still that Saxon sound, but also a little Accept. Just a killer album as well. But I want to also address track number 8. Adrian Smith of Iron Maiden gets songwriting credits, but it's not a track that he specifically written for this band. It's actually an Urchin cover, because member Andy Barnett is also given songwriting credits, which he was a member of Urchin, and it's pretty much I Need Somebody, with just sung in Spanish. They just were able to take that Urchin track, which is actually featured on this one that High Roller had put out in 2010 or something. This one, Need Somebody, is on this one, and here this is pretty much the cover track that's featured on here. But they able to take that track and make it their own. It's a good track, but all the rest of the album's fucking good. Very good. Really like that. Now turn to the last one, to the album that's actually playing in the background. This is Black Dragon. Also a part of the Heavy Metal Classic series that Adrian and Headstone were on. But this a German metal band, of course, released in 1982. And yes, with an artwork like that, you wouldn't be thinking that this is a heavy metal album. You'd be thinking this is some English prog album from like the early 70s, but this is, just like you hear in the background, it's very much a hard, rocky, heavy metal album. That's actually good. I like this one. I actually had given it a little bit of spins on the on YouTube, but I liked it enough to where I went and got the CD. Which I'll also show off the certificate for this one as well, which is right here. This is 206 out of 500. So yeah, 500 copies. Also, I'll show off, this is pretty much the back cover for the album on the LP. Definitely, like, again, it's a good album. I like this one. I'm exploring a bit of the early German scene, because everyone knows about the German scene during the later half of the 80s, that mid half from like 84, 85, 86, 87, all the way to the 90s, beginning of that, that Euro power metal movement that Halloween and that were part of. But here, from like the late 70s to early 80s, like from like, let's say like 1977 all the way up to like 1983, it's a very overlooked scene. Of course, people know about Scorpions, people know about Accept, people know about Sinner, people know about, Viva and Trance, but here's a scene like you know, Deep Throat and Black Dragon, who just got left in the dust due to some of the more popular bands. Well, even Trance were kind of left in the dust for a bit, but they were kind of, you know, a little popular in a way. They were just known. But here, this is a good album. Of course, this copy features also a kind of a rearranged version of the album. All it is bass player Anders Lodahl, I think, just that guy right there. He pretty much went and took the album, but was able to kind of remaster it differently, but rearranged it in a way. Not the track listing, but in some of the ways the song. Because the first track, Born for a Solution, starts differently than on the actual album. And then Drifting with the Hunter also starts out very differently, but the rest of the album are kind of, you know, the same. But he also kind of sped the album a little bit. For me, it's fine, but I tend to really like the you know, the original version. I don't know. In a way, if it was like a 2-disc copy, I probably would have been totally fine, because of course I probably would have been playing the first disc, then the second disc, but it's fine enough. But it's good enough to have, because the original LP was just released independently back in '82, and finding originals of those are probably going to be real tough. But it's a good album though, I like it. Singer kind of sounding a little like Algie Ward and Lemmy in a way, but the music being more kind of crocus, except kind of, you know, some of that Saxon-like stuff. But it's good. I like this. So that's pretty much about it for the video. That's all I wanted to show. Long video though, as you can see, or you can tell. So I hope you had a beverage with you, or a snack, you know, to get through this. But talking about music is probably enough to get you through it, because of it gets you, you know, talking, wanting to, you know, to want to put comments down in the comment section. Which if you've heard many of these albums, or any of these, or even some like Black Dragon, you can put your you know, the comments on the comment section down below. So this is Heavy Thrasher saying I'm out. I'll see you later.